Hey all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be looking at a pile of junk by way of the Legacy Evolution Crashbar. He's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below, and also in the description down below. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the newest Junkion Crashbar, who may have been meant to be a different Junkion altogether based on some early artwork. And he really is an adaptation of the fossilizer weaponizer gimmick, but we'll see how well that actually works in just a little bit. We're going to look at him, we're going to look at his transformation, we're going to look at his incorporation with another Junkion, all of that and more. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And today we're going to be taking a look at this guy. This is the latest in the line of Junkions, an adaptation of the weaponizer gimmick. This is Crashbar. Of course, before we look at him, we're going to take a look at that packaging first. And here we have Crashbar's packaging in his motorcycle mode. Honestly, his personality says it all. The guy drives fairly recklessly, crashes into things, is prone to having parts pop off, but he's a Junkion, so whenever he hurts himself or damages himself, hey, it's only temporary because I'll take a piece of junk and put right back on me to fix what broke. On the side over here, close up of his head, as well as a look at like his robot mode down here. Over here, we have our usual artwork that we always have with Legacy Evolution, and on the back, you guessed it, we're able to see kind of both of his modes, plus how he breaks up into parts, like I said, a la the fossilizer weaponizer gimmick, and we can see him attached down here to Scraphook. I might show it, I might not, I'm not sure, but basically you take off an arm of Scraphook, you take off a leg of Scraphook, and you put on an arm and a leg of this, well actually you put on both of his legs is what you end up doing, because the front is one leg and the back is the other leg. So there you go, packaging. Man, if you like instructions, this guy has them. And you know what? They're actually fairly good. They show what needs to be shown quite well. Not one, but two saddlebag blasters that have a number of ports and peg holes, but a lot of hollowness on this side as well. But there's two of them. And he comes with two of these exhaust pipe club things. They're hollow on this side, but you know what? They're fine for what they are. And here we have our boy fitting in with a bunch of Junkions. I mean, I'm going to say his coloration is a 10 because he has the oranges, browns, beiges, and golds that are famous with the Junkions, and he fits right in. Some of the early artwork of him looked more like Hazmat, certainly with the head sculpt looked more like Hazmat. If you don't know who Hazmat is, he was one of the unnamed Junkions that attacked the Autobots before Hot Rod arrived. If you're wondering, well, what did he really look like? How different was he from Crashbar? Fairly similar. As a matter of fact, a lot of Hazmat's look is borrowed from this guy, Junkyard or Junk Heap, if you prefer that name. So, I think if you look at him and Crashbar, you can see certain similarities in design and of course certain differences as well, especially in the coloration. I'm going to take him and him out of it for just a moment because they're Voyagers, they're a little different, they're a little bigger, it is what it is. Here you can see that our boy Crashbar is pretty tiny. If we go back a few years to the Power of the Primes, this guy clocked in at 86 grams of plastic. I paid a grand total of about 20 bucks for him. It was worth that. 20 bucks, 86 grams of plastic. He has quite a high amount of paint on him as well. Fast forward, we have Scraphook. Scraphook was 84 grams of plastic, and I said, you know what, that's in the ballpark of what a typical deluxe should be. He had good engineering, an interesting transformation, and a ton of paint. So to me, this works as a deluxe This works as a deluxe. Then we get to Crash Bash. Crash Bash has an interesting transformation. He has 5 accessories, which is nice. He has an asymmetrical look, certainly to his legs, which meant different molds. I get that. He's also only 72 grams of plastic. He gave up a lot of mass. However, unlike something like Siege Reflector, who is also only 72 grams, this guy has, as I said, asymmetrical molding, which was going to mean extra molds, and he has a ton of paint. The ton of paint is exactly why I'm giving this guy a 10. I'm going to kind of narrow things in a little bit so we can focus on some of that beautiful paint. So, kind of starting from the feet going up, and I could be missing some stuff, but certainly the seat here, that's paint. The gold and I think the red here is also paint. We have red and yellow detailing down on this foot, that's paint. Though molded in orange, it's painted brown at his pelvis, that's paint. On his chest, the silver, the Tempo Autobot logo, the red, the gold, all of that's paint. On his face, the red visor, the silver face, the red visor, the silver face, all paint. Up on his shoulders, the red spike detail, paint. So there is a significant amount here. That's why I'm giving the guy a 10 for paint. In terms of the saw blade on his arm, I'm going to take that off and close it back up. And then that sandwiches in between these two peg holes back here. And if I close it up, which I should hopefully be able to do. There, right there like that. And it goes up by rights into the leg thusly. So a 10 for the look, I think that's a great start. What about the articulation for the guy? Well, let's do that now. So starting from the top, we have a head that goes left and right. It can look back, but it feels like it's not really supposed to because it's actually part of the transformation. And a little bit down. It's a weird feeling head. It's effective, I suppose, but to me it feels a bit strange. The arms go all the way around, out to the side, that far, which is fine. Very deep elbow all the way up, which I love. We do still have a wrist rotation. We have a free-flowing waist. We have legs all the way forward. We have legs all the way back. We have a thigh swivel. We have ankle tilt. Yeah, ankle tilt on both. It's not super deep, but it'll get you what you need. And then we get to the knees. And the knees are weird. You get 90 degrees if you push this tire out of the way. So you can get a 90-degree knee, but you got to push that tire out of the way, and I guess push it back up after. On the other side, same sort of thing. If you get the tire out of the way, you'll get 90 degrees, but when you're done, you're going to have to push the tire back. I don't like that the tires affect the articulation, but since they can move out of the way easy enough and just go push back into place easy enough, I really don't find them to be much of a hindrance. Just an unfortunate casualty of design, I suppose. I'm going to say that you can get most of the poses you want. He has big, hefty, chunky feet. I'm going to say that his articulation is a solid 9. Solid 9. You'll also notice that I have these put behind his head. He can hold them in his hand if he wants. There's multiple 5mm pegs on it, or he could even have them on his shoulders or on his forearms or whatever. Same down here with the saddlebag blasters. I have them on his legs, but again, they go in his hands as blasters, right? So I don't really, you know how something goes to a peg hole, right? I'm going to just take those off for now, and I'm going to take these off for now, because they're not really parts to stay on for the transformation. The guy doesn't really parts form. This is just a matter of removing accessories, right? The claim is that he doesn't parts form for transformation. And that's true, because all of these things just go moved around for accessories like we've had a million times. Overall, right now, a 9.5, pretty darn great score if you ask me. The transformation, very interesting. Let's get to it. Okay, so to start things, we're going to open out these arms, and we're going to take the head and push it down into the body thusly. By the way, to get the head back out after, there's like a notch right here. That's really what you pick on to get the head back up. Some people have struggled with that and said like the head is stuck down there. I could see how that could happen, so be careful, but that's how you're supposed to get it back out, just by pushing that little front chest piece until it goes up and locks in. We're going to bring that all the way around. We're also going to rotate the hand around and bring it up over. We're going to bring this around, rotate the hand around, and bring it up over. Now you might notice at this point that like we're not exactly solidified here. There's a little notch right there, and there's this rectangular tab here. It goes into that little notch. And that's really what sort of solidifies this in place once you have everything lined up just right. There, like that. And that's really like, I'll say like the engine block portion done. And I think it looks good. Like again, we have some nice molded detail and some paint here on his arms and whatnot to really kind of help pick it out. Okay, so next we will turn this leg, we'll bring this out, and we'll even bring that out a little bit. We're going to also turn the body this way. And we're going to go like this. That's in essence what it is we're looking to get done, right? Okay. We're going to see if I hope I can show this properly. It's a little bit challenging to show properly. We're going to open out the handlebars, and we're going to bring this all forward. All like that. And over here, we're going to just straighten up a foot and make sure we have that all kind of brought out as well. All this will sort of, I don't want to say solidify, but it's all going to come together pretty elegantly, actually. So now up inside the knee, we're supposed to use the hinge in the knee to kind of collapse this in over the thigh, and the same back here. I do find on my copy that the knee likes to pop off the peg because it's just, I mean, it's just a knee on a peg, right? Just like Scraphook. And it's not loose, like, I mean, as you can see, they're not loose, but I do find during transformation that they do like to kind of pop off a little bit. So let's see if we can do it without it popping off. No, see, it came off because this whole hinge is a tight tolerance in there. So a lot of times I'll just pop it off, I'll get the hinge done, and then I'll bring it down, right? And you can see it's sort of getting there now, right? Same over here. Let's see if I can, oh, I think I got that one. And bring it down. Now, when we get to this point, we have a couple of little pegs here that go in, and you'll notice that we have a couple of pegs up right here. They go down into slots in the arms here to help solidify all of this. And basically, boom, in the end, here we have Scraphook in his motorcycle mode. Now, to help solidify all of this a little bit more, we're going to add those other accessories back. The first that we're going to add back is going to peg in right here, and it's going to be one of the saddlebag pieces. So we come up here and we plug it in there, and we plug it in there like that. We're going to do the same on the other side. The other piece that we're going to add will go slotted into one of the hands, and using one of these pegs, and then there's a little notch right there, and when we bring it down, there's a little notch in right here on the pipe. It will notch in there as well. Actually, this is the pipe for this side, so we would put that in the hand, and then we'll swing it up around to notch it in place. I'm going to do the same on the other side, solidify a couple of the pegs, and then we'll kind of talk about his motorcycle. And here's our boy with everything on him. I think it's a great transformation. I think it's interesting that his whole body turns upside down. I love that he rolls fine, but you know what? He can stay up on his two tires because of, I guess, everything else that allows him to stay up, right? I love it. I think it's great. I was giving the guy a 9.5. I think the transformation is, again, a solid 9.5. I think it's an excellent version of a Junkion. That said, of course, as is always the case, he's certainly out of scale with this guy, Scraphook, right? And I talked earlier about how pieces of this can come off and become parts of this. Well, for example, and I'm going to try and do this quickly if I can here, popping those off. I mean, we could come here and take that whole back end off if we, if we so wanted. And if you're inclined, you can actually bring the knee piece, see if I can move this up a bit. Bring the knee piece forward on this hinge again, and using where the tire pegs in back here, you could, you could do that if you, if you want. And you can take the front piece off, and if you want, take off the legs, and then let's see if we can get this in here. Oh, again, extend the knee back out the way the knee should be. See if we can put it in one of these legs here. Yeah, right? So, I mean, if you want, you can use bits and pieces of him to get this kind of look for your Scraphook if you're so inclined. And I mean, come on. This is the epitome of junk. This is the epitome of a Junkion. I think Scraphook is great. I think Crashbar is great. Overall score for Crashbar, 9.5. Pretty solid Transformer, even if a little bit small for the deluxe class size. And here we are once again, and here he is. I like him. I think that he's a little bit too small for deluxe, but I think a lot of the value is made up by the excess of paint, and I do think that a lot of the value is made up by the fact that we have asymmetry, which meant that we had to have extra molds, right? The two legs could not just be a mold mirrored. It had to be two separate things. Same with the tires, because this one's an accessory, right? So we have more parts count and more molds used to accomplish the legs. We still have a ton of paint and great articulation. I think the value's here, and I think when we look at 72 grams, there's more value here than there was with, say, Siege Reflector. I personally wish that the torso probably had a little bit more height or something to it, or the overall package was just a few grams more. But I don't feel like I really got taken advantage of or I overpaid or anything, because I think there's a lot of value here for the accessories, for the parts count, for the articulation, for the paint, for the whole thing. I just wish it was a little bit more. I think he's a success. If you are thinking about getting him, should you? Yeah, I think you should, but realize in doing so that you are getting a smaller offering at perhaps a price point that seems a little too rich for some people's blood. Some people will say, hey, I see all the value there. Some people will say, no, too rich for my blood. And the fact that that debate even exists says a lot. For me, I think he's worth it, and I think he fits in very nicely with the Junkion aesthetic that has been going on with Studio Series and now Legacy and Legacy Evolution. I'm happy that we're getting more of them and that we're kind of building a Junkion squad, if nothing else. And this guy is a tremendous, fantastic addition. What you do get here is done very well. Let me know what you think about Crashbar. If he's on your list of pickups or not. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Don't forget to please hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, man, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.